sometimes when I come out here, I feel a great sadness. And I think that's because I stand with one foot in the past and one foot in the present, in modernity, if you will. What we lost when we went from being hunter-gatherers to being civilized people was first and foremost community. We lost the tribe. We lost family. We lost the feeling of being part of something, belonging to someone, something. That group, we lost that. Now more and more people are living alone, and many people take pride in that, even though it's, it's completely unnatural. We are, as Homo sapiens, we are pack animals, and it's like, I sometimes say that you can choose to be, and this has nothing to do with veganism, by the way, it's just an example. You can choose to be a vegan, but you can never become a herbivore if you're a human being. And just like, in the same way, you can't, you can choose to live alone, but you can never become a solitary animal, because you're not. I'm not, you're not. And while I spend my days alone, I'm not a solitary animal. So we lost community, we lost our tribe. And now, with recent modern times, seems like we're losing the family as well. Or, we have this situation with kids growing up, without a father. That's very common now. And I'm not blaming anyone if that's your situation, or, if you're a single mother, I'm not blaming you. I'm just stating the fact. It's not how it's supposed to be. People are depressed. And you know why people are depressed? Because they eat things we're not supposed to eat. And they spend their days mostly alone, looking into harmful light screens. And you're doing that now. I know, but I'm trying to get this message across. And by the way, there will be people who have written in the comments now, oh, without modernity, without modern life and civilization, you wouldn't have been able to make that video. And that's true. And if you want to call me a hypocrite, go ahead. But I need to get this message across, because I think it's important. We were meant to spend our days walking around in nature, under the sun, gathering food and, whatever we needed. And in the evenings, we would sit around a campfire with our friends and family, our tribe. And that's happiness. And when we now live so far removed from that way of life, it's no wonder that people are depressed, that they get sick. And I'm seeing and hearing that what used to be the natural world, our ancestry, it's vanishing. Sometimes it feels like people just don't care. about where we come from and our home. This is our home, nature. When I come out here dressed like this, it's not for show, it's not to pretend. I'm not playing dress up. This is a way for me to connect with what is real. During the last few years I have seen more and more trees being cut down to make room for, well, just for forestry and also to make room for more houses. People need a place to live, I get that, but we are losing something that we will never get back, which is our home, nature. And don't get me started with, oh, they plant new trees, this, you're sitting in a plantation. No, I'm not. And yes, they do plant new trees, and what you get is a monoculture. You don't get a forest. What I'm trying to say here is, and I'm getting to the point, you know, we created as Homo sapiens, that's our species, we created this civilization, this modern world with all sorts of nice stuff that make us more safe and more comfortable. But at the same time, we made life unbearable. At least to many people it feels unbearable. We work until we drop, and that's your life basically. Here's the helicopter again. I usually cut that out. I don't know if you can hear it. I usually cut it out, but now I won't, so that you can see what it's like for me making these videos. But in our effort to create a safer and more effective world, we created diseases, we created depression, we created loneliness. We lost so much with what I like to call modernity. When we went from being hunter-gatherers, that was the so-called agricultural revolution 10,000 years ago, the Neolithic, sorry, the Neolithic period started, and people settled down, went from being hunter-gatherers to being farmers. That was the first step, because at that point, when people did that, when people started to live like that, they also created hierarchies. Some people had to bend the knee, and some people would decide and point at the others and tell them what to do. And I think that's when it all started. I think we were much happier before that. Some people say, you know, hunter-gatherers, they lived only until 30. That's not true, actually. We know that that's a myth. It's not true at all. Child mortality was high, sadly, but from what I have learned, it got higher after the agricultural revolution. Some people say that it's all designed, it's all planned, and the system is rigged so that, you know, we are being kept down. We're being fed and entertained, bread and circus, so that we won't rise up and throw the elites to the wolves or to the lions or whatever. And I personally think that there's a lot of truth to that. People are being kept just content enough to not revolt. But let me ask you this. After a normal day, are you happy? After a day of maybe commuting back and forth to work and sitting there looking into a screen, if that's what you do for a living, and maybe you watch on TV in the evening and you doom scroll. Are you happy? And if the answer is not yes, then my question is, don't you think that you deserve something better? Now, I don't have all the solutions, but I will say that it is time that we try to reach out to other people, and we need to get back to nature. Call up a friend or some friends and get out there, have a campfire, spend the night, sleep in a tent, and find that feeling of being part of something that matters. Sit around the campfire with friends. That's basically what I'm trying to say here, because that's what we were meant to do. I always feel better when I walk out the door, and I am very lucky because I live right next to the forest, and I always feel so much better when I walk out the door and I walk out into the forest. I am very much a woodland creature, I guess. And I think that it's a physiological thing. It's just your body telling you that, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Why don't you do that more? It will be a miracle if you discover this video. Because YouTube will probably hide it, but sometimes I just can't stand that YouTube game trying to make videos so that they will please the algorithm and all of that nonsense. Yeah, so did you know that when you're under the sun, I think it's called mitochondria, are somehow being activated. That infrared light is penetrating your clothes and your skin and into 6 centimeters into your body, and it's very good for you. The same light is actually the light that you now my campfire is a little bit rubbish right now, but campfire light is the same light. You have the same infrared radiation there that is very good for us. And also, if you are surrounded by green trees and leaves and things like that, it gets even enhanced, so to speak, that light from the sun. So you could say that it's almost as if we were supposed to be out there in the forest. It's almost as if that's our natural habitat. It is. So, yeah. I always say, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel if you do that. I should probably have said it before to remind people, but yeah. Okay. Hope you enjoyed this video. I will be back next Saturday with another video. Until then, stay strong and get out there. Go for a hike.